Hello everyone, good morning and welcome back to Sports Today. We bring you this video segment every morning to help you catch up with some things you have missed out on that were happening in the world of sport whilst you were catching up on some all-important sleep, because let's face it, whilst you need sleep, I need sleep, the whole world needs sleep, the world of sport does not really sleep. There's always something or the other going on, and it can be a little tiresome to keep a track on every little thing that is going on. Worry not though, that's what we do over here for you guys so that you don't have to. So without further ado, let's get straight to it. Let's start off with an absolute doozy. Rahul, there is uncertainty over him and his fitness. Again, stop me if you've heard this one before, but Rahul struggling with injury issues has become an all too familiar theme of his career. Yes, there have been peaks, but the troughs have always come with massive injury impacted layoffs, and it does seem like he could potentially be staring at another setback. We don't know exactly, the details are scarce, but what we do know is that the quad injury that has been bothering him in recent times, the discomfort from that has not gone yet. Rahul has been complaining of discomfort, and even though scans have been run, it's shown no clear and obvious injury error, but it has shown inflammation on the quad. So what has happened is that Rahul has now headed to London to consult a specialist to see what exactly the problem is. Now again, as I said, details are very scarce. We don't know anything beyond that fact, but what we do know is that him playing that fifth test in Dharamshala does seem like it is a little bit of a doubt right now. We don't know what exactly the circumstances, why is that inflammation there, why is Rahul constantly complaining about pain, is any further procedure needed to correct this? We don't quite know right now. All details are very scarce, but what it does is not only place his participation in the test series or the last test in doubt, but also raises a few question marks as to what exactly his status will be come the IPL. Remember, the IPL comes straight after pretty much the test series is done, because the test series is done on 11th, that's the day of the final, 5th day of the final test, and after that, come 22nd, the IPL gets underway. Now, even last year, Rahul had a rather injury-impacted season with the Lucknow Super Giants. They got injured midway, missed the rest of the tournament. Now also, potentially, the injury cloud continues to hang over him. It has become a recurring theme. One only hopes that the inflammation is nothing serious and nothing that requires more procedures, let's say, but it is very much a case of a wait-and-watch game as far as Rahul's fitness right now is concerned. In more light news, Jadeja recently took to social media and posted a picture of him posing outside the gates of MS Dhoni's Ranchi farmhouse. If you're wondering what he's doing at Ranchi, well, the 4th test match took place there, and Jadeja obviously visited Dhoni in that time. You know, the two of them share a close bond. Jadeja is in fact, an international and CSK player thanks in no small part to Dhoni's constant backing. And he posted this rather funny picture with a caption which says that just wanted to see what it's like to be posing in front of the great man's house as a fan. Now, obviously, he would have gone beyond the gates, but it's still a pretty cool picture and does show the kind of bond that Jadeja and Dhoni share, that Jadeja could very easily go visit Dhoni in his own house and probably have some chill time with Captain Cool too. More cricket news, but this time relating to the WPL, and it has been a perfect start for the Smriti Mandhana-led Royal Challengers Bangalore, because they beat the Gujarat Giants in clinical fashion in their second game, which means they've won 2 out of 2 and right now are very much on top of the table. Finishing on top of the WPL table is key, because what it does, it ensures you direct qualification into the final, with the teams placed second and third playing a playoff game to essentially figure out who is the team that will be facing that. Now, of course, it's early days still in the table. There's 8 matches overall, so still 6 matches to go, but it has been a pretty positive start from RCB, and this match showed them at their fluent best. Renuka Singh Thakur and Sophie Molyneux start with the ball. Smriti Mandhana and Elise Perry start with the bat, and ensured that they got a pretty clinical, comfortable win. They got Gujarat out for like 109 and then chased that down in about 11 overs. It's a very convincing win, and it's boosted their net run rate significantly. In fact, it's around plus 1.6 something at this point, so it's a very good net run rate, and even if they do take a loss or two, won't impact it too badly. So good news there all around. But let's switch our focus now to the world of football, and Manchester City star Erling Haaland was back on the score sheet once again. In fact, he netted a hat-trick against Luton Town to ensure that City are into the next round of the FA Cup. They beat Luton 6-2, so the result never really was in doubt. But with City, we know that they're current treble holders. They obviously would want to defend that treble crown and right now stay on course to do so, even though admittedly maybe just a little bit of a stretch for them to defend all 3 trophies in the same year. More FA Cup news, and Newcastle United just about avoided being eliminated from the FA Cup by the skin of their teeth against Blackburn Rovers. Aside that, were once Premier League winners but currently are in the third division of the English football pyramid. Newcastle ended up playing out a 1-1 draw against Blackburn, but won the subsequent penalty shootout 4-3 to ensure that they're into the next round. And as I said, close call for Newcastle, and does, let's say, typify the kind of struggles they've been having recently under Eddie Howe. Obviously, there's going to be question marks over the players and even the manager, but at the very least, they got a good result and avoided a potential banana peel fixture. One team that didn't was Bournemouth, who ended up losing 1-0 to Leicester City in a pretty close fashion. Now, of course, Leicester are a team that quite recently did also win the Carabao Cup. It was in the 2020-21 season when they beat Chelsea, but Leicester are currently a side in the Championship, and Bournemouth a Premier League team. Obviously, it would sting if you're a Bournemouth fan to have lost out to a Leicester City side, but this Leicester City side, may I remind you, right now very much in charge of they're bossing the Championship. They do seem like they're in charge of their own destiny and could very well be set to return to the Premier League come the 2024-25 season, because that's just how good they have been looking up until this point in time. They've been really, really good, and maybe them beating Bournemouth should not have been that much of a surprise, even though there's a divisions gap between both clubs. Switching our focus now, and a bit of tennis news for you, and bad news unfortunately to start your day. If you're a Sumit Nagal fan, he ended up losing out in his first round game in the Dubai Open 500 ATP tournament because he was up against, of course, a player who's ranked much higher than him. The thing with being a wild card is that you will not always get the most favorable of draws. Obviously, if you're qualifying through your rankings, it'll always be better, but he ended up getting Lorenzo Sonego, who's currently in the top 50 of the ATP rankings and could potentially, let's say, have proved an even bigger challenge. Of course, Nagal fought well. He lost the first set, won the second, but then appeared to run out of a bit of steam in the third set. So it's a good showing regardless, but it does also show that Nagal is someone who hasn't really had that kind of an experience when it comes to playing on the demanding schedules that are often played out by players who play full seasons on the tour. Nagal's often struggled with injury issues recently, so hasn't been able to, let's say, fulfill that. But now that he's getting these chances, let's hope he can keep making the most of it and potentially break back into the top 100 so that he's automatically qualifying for the next Grand Slam, which is, of course, the French Open. Last bit of news from the world of Formula 1. And Red Bull Racing have pretty much confirmed that they will be making a decision on the investigation that has been taking place into team principal Christian Horner. Now, you remember that Horner had been under investigation for alleged aggressive, uncontrolling behavior towards a female employee. And the investigation is taking place in Red Bull, as in the Red Bull Energy Drinks Company, which is the parent company of the racing team. They are handling the investigation, and it has been a lengthy investigation and included Horner having about an 8-hour long interview with an external lawyer, and it is potentially set to be concluded this week. So we could know whether or not, let's say, Horner, who's the longest serving team principal in Formula 1 right now, is axed from his job or continues to stay on. And all evidence, may I say, points that he could very well be let go from his role. Whether or not that actually happens, we'll know. But what we do know is that it'll potentially be wrapped up before the season opening Formula 1 race at Bahrain. And that's it from us in this edition of the Morning Wrap. Thank you guys so much for joining us. If you enjoy our work, please don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, tap that bell icon, leave us a comment, follow us on social media. We're on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Don't forget to download the Sports the Cap. And if you're already on the channel, go ahead, check out some other videos we've done as well. And stay tuned, plenty more coming your way through the day. For now, though, from my side, it's goodbye.